Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another video. And I had to make this video. Just heard that Jayson Tatum grew to 6'10 and put on 15 pounds of muscle. That is insane. That is crazy because the dude's already a superstar. Yes, I said superstar. If you compare other superstars to Jayson Tatum's career up until this point, year 3 going into year 4, they did not do what Jayson Tatum is doing now, averaging over 20 points a game. With his situation, I know a lot of other situations of superstars were different, but Jayson Tatum had Kyrie Irving in his second year, which he had to defer to, right? And you saw it in his game. And then he had Gordon Hayward in his third year, which he had to defer to a little bit. Both of those guys were established, Kyrie being the superstar, but, Jayson Tatum had to take a step back. He wasn't the same guy in his first year, which is what kind of got his name, outside of him being, I think he was the third pick. The third pick. Outside of him being the third pick, he also, his playoff push in that first year is what definitely made me a fan of his. When he dunked on LeBron, I was like, oh no, that kid just dunked on LeBron. That is crazy. I guess that's my boy now. And I just followed him ever since. And so I'm a big fan of his. I know he models his game after Kobe, and he's said it many times that that's his mentor. And, it broke him, as it broke all of us that when Kobe passed away. But you can definitely see Kobe in his game, especially when he takes elbow jumpers. The man looks just like Kobe. It's crazy. But, I think with his growth and his development, I think he's going to push for that MVP. I think he has a good shot of winning it this year. There's some other guys in the conversation, but the reason I believe he has a great shot at winning MVP this year is because his situation changed. Gordon Hayward is no longer on the team. Even though he's, everyone knew that Jayson Tatum's better than Gordon Hayward. Having Gordon Hayward, at the time, I believe he was like late 20s or maybe 30 years old on the team. He was kind of that older guy who's already been established in this league. So he deserves his minutes. He deserves the ball and stuff like that because he's made a name for himself. And then he's also, even though Jayson Tatum had a longer career with the Celtics, Gordon Hayward knew Brad Stevens. He already had that relationship. So he's coming onto the team, even though, I know Gordon Hayward's not that kind of guy, but he's just like, I know you're the young star, but, that's my guy. We have history. And so I think it kind of, it affected, I'll say, Jayson Tatum's game a little bit. But now this year, with all the pieces that they've added, he has the green light. They have a little bit more bigger presence in the paint with that Tristan Thompson and some other guys that they keep. But hopefully they play Taco Fall some more. They have Kemba Walker who can knock down some shots, and play make. Jaylen Brown with his development, and then I believe they drafted Nesmith, which I think is also going to make an impact with his shooting. And so Jayson Tatum's going to have all the spacing. He's not going to have to, go in the paint with his size, even though he can go up with the best of them, with the tallest guys. But I think, when it comes to MVP, the biggest, the guys who would be candidates this year would be like AD and LeBron. But I think the Lakers are so stacked that they're going to be reminiscent of Golden State back in 2015 when they were just blowing out teams left and right. So much so that Steph and Clay and a lot of those other guys just sat in the fourth quarter. And so it affected their stats a little bit. I think Giannis, history says that the NBA doesn't like to give the MVP to the third time, in a row. So with Giannis being back-to-back MVP, I think they might look elsewhere. I think he'd still be in the conversation because he's just so much of a talented player. And, Luka, I think he might be in the conversation, but usually the MVP goes to the best player on a top 3 team. And unfortunately, Dallas, I just don't think they're going to. I think they're going to be a great team, but I just don't think they're going to be a top 3 team this season. And then I would say the last person in the conversation would be Dame Lillard. Dude's a monster. Dude's a beast, and I'm looking forward to seeing some of those half court jump shots that he's talking about that he may make this year or may attempt. But I think Portland, same thing. You know, they might be a top 4 seed, so I can definitely see Dame being in the conversation. But I think Jayson Tatum has the greenest light, you know, and he's out in the East, you know, which makes things a little bit easier. And yeah, you know, let me know what you guys think as far as like Jayson Tatum's development, his height. You know, I guess if you look at other players that are in the same, or he gets compared to, like Kobe. Kobe didn't. He wasn't the guy, you know, until his like 4th year in the league, averaging 22 points a game, and he was 21. And then he made that jump the next year, averaging 28 points when he was 22. And then if you look at Paul George didn't become the guy until year 4, when he was 23. He was also, he was also in Indiana where he was competing for the position for small forward and shooting guard, and so he had some competition. And then Giannis, just with his growth. Like I said before, you know, Giannis had to, along with his like player development, he was also growing like crazy. So he also had to get coordinated with his like new body every single year. But Giannis didn't make that jump until he was 23. And so a lot of those guys, 22, 23, year 4 is when they made that jump and when they became the guy that they are, you know, and that they continue to be. And so those are my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts. I would love to hear what other MVP considerations or guys that I may have not mentioned that you believe is going to be MVP this year. Love to hear, you know, who's going to make it out in the East. So let me know, comment below, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Take care, peace.